This was announced by Central Bank's Governor, Johannes Gravagap, following the committee's second bi-monthly meeting of the year held to decide on the appropriate monetary policy stance for the next 2 months. Governor Gravagap highlighted that Monetary Policy Committee also carried out a comprehensive review of current and expected domestic, regional and global economic developments. The other reason is to continue safeguarding the peg between the Namibia dollar and the South African rand, while supporting the domestic economy amid heightened global policy uncertainty.
Most monitored central banks have kept their policy rates unchanged since the previous MPC meeting, given elevated uncertainty. The US Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the People's Bank of China, the South African Reserve Bank and the Bank of Russia kept their policy rates steady. In contrast, the ECB and the Bank of India eased rates, while the Bank of Brazil tightened rates. So let's look then, given all these, what the monetary policy stances and the considerations. In determining the appropriate monetary policy stance, the MPC considered the extraordinary level of uncertainty introduced to the global economy by trade policy shifts, which was likely to dampen growth. The MPC noted that the potentially slower global growth would lower the projected trajectories of most commodity prices, oil included, but this favorable impact on domestic inflation seemed to be offset by a weaker exchange rate.
The Monetary Policy Committee further considered the magnitude of the trade deficit and the impact of the imminent settling of international debt obligations on the country's international reserve holdings.
While the relatively high level of domestic real interest rates, adequate level of foreign reserves, and sluggish credit growth suggested the possibility of a further reduction in the Repo Rate, the MPC was cognizant of the need to avoid significant interest rate differential within the CMA in the interest of orderly capital flows. Against this background, the MPC decided to keep the Repo Rate unchanged at 6.75%. Commercial banks are accordingly expected to maintain their prime lending rates at 10.5%.
The next monetary policy announcement is expected in June.